it on with someone with an Android. Those texts were damning and they were green! Oh, thank you guys so much again for being here. This means the world to me. Such a big show, taped. I like completely wore the wrong pants. Thank you for sitting front row. So that's nothing I would do, I'm not a cuck. But, can I put you on like camel toe watch? Just at any point during the show, if you see that I don't have a camel toe, let me know, I'll take it back up. You guys paid money to be here. I do feel good. I'm feeling a little weird because earlier a friend like broke it to me that apparently everyone in my life thinks that I'm white passing. More specifically, Sean White passing. Which is fine. I said that in front of like a group of straight friends, and they were like, girl. Oh, no. They're straight. They said, brethren! Brother! You don't look that much like gold medal Olympian snowboarder Sean White. But I said it in front of a group of gay friends, and they looked at me up and down and they were like, girl, who the fuck is Sean White? I am curious, clap it up if you're queer in here. Yeah. All right. Okay. Officers? Round them up! Round them up, put them in my bedroom! Oh no, I am queer, but I did recently go on a date with a man. We went to completion. It was my first date with a guy in a long time, and I gotta say, okay, no matter how much time I take off, sucking dick is like riding a bike. In that I do not know how to do it. I feel like it's too late to ask my dad to teach me. I do want to get better at all things like love and sex. I want to... Mr. Camel Toe. Could I... That's your father. Camel Toe. I'm so sorry. I want to try... Can I try a pickup line on you? And it's fine that you're the boyfriend of one of my best friends. Stranger. Okay, this is a pickup line. I'm going to try to be sexy. Hey. Okay. Hey. Oh, my mom made it. That's huge. Okay. Mom, you're gonna love the abortion stuff. I'm gonna fucking get this guy to sleep with me. Okay. Hey. Is that a Snickers in your pocket? Or is your penis just all like melted and horrible? Yeah. How'd you feel about that, Mom? Oh, sounds like when you left. Okay. Real thing that happened. I do feel like the way that we measure penises feels very out of date. Because, I mean, of course, size doesn't matter. Unless it's too big or too small or I hate it. Size doesn't matter. But when I'm scrolling through profiles and I see someone list inches, I'm like, cool, all that tells me is length. And when you want it to be, a penis is a three-dimensional experience. So what makes the most sense scientifically is if you have a penis, there's the door. Bald guy in a turtleneck saluting me. If you have a penis, go home tonight. Text me a picture. Stick your dick in a graduated cylinder. Let me know how much water you're displacing. No cheating, okay? Keep your eye on that meniscus. Oh my god, I said text me a picture, and I don't mean that at all. I'm very cautious and nervous about sending nudes, but I was telling that to one of my friends, and she was like, well, if you have an iPhone, you can use these like text effects and you can send it in invisible ink, conceal the message. But the thing is, if you have an iPhone and you're holding down that send button, you're kind of presented with a buffet of effects. I feel like if I had a naked photo of my body, kind of going right past invisible ink, going slam! Yeah! Slam, it's my hole! Yes! Slam! Yes! And like, I'll use invisible ink underneath that. I'll be like, this is Meredith, by the way. Congrats on the new baby. I'm someone I'm very committed to doing bits in the bedroom. Someone was trying to go down on me, and I do mean trying. They were getting close, and every time I would just slam my legs together shut and go, too slow! I let him try again, I'm like, proceed. I trick him again, I'm like, psych! Got your nose. Or I feel like if I'm holding a penis, I want to ease the tension, and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. This thing is a twist off. Get that cork out with your teeth. Or I know a lot of people like to have sex hamburger style. Lying down. I want to try hot dog style. With a hot dog. Or by far, okay, favorite position has got to be reverse missionary. Reverse missionary, it's when you travel to another country, convince those people to renounce the one true Christian God. Also, it's reverse missionary, so you know your butts are touching. I was talking about sex positions. I was talking with my roommate about doing doggy, and we were filling out our chore chart. I did it last month. Get on all fours. She is very straight. But no, I was talking with a friend about doggy, and they are a gold star lesbian, right? And they were saying, like, it's so funny that I've never done doggy style. Or at least, you know, I've never been the dog. So I was like, oh, is your understanding of the dynamic of doggy style that there is one dog and the other person is, I don't know, let's call him Greg the dog fucker? Because, like, if so, I mean, give me Greg's number. He sounds chill. He sounds chill as hell. No, that was so degrading to hear. I was like, I'm not the dog. He's the dog. I'm daddy's little slut. Speaking of, my dad's here. No. Speaking of, I have started seeing someone new, and I am not the type to sort of like kiss and tell, but I do cry when I give head. Something he enjoys in a way I don't want to examine. Don't want to look into that one. But I do feel like, I heard a woo, his extended family's right here. I'm starting to see someone new, it's going well, and we were going to meet some of his friends the other day, and I could feel him like building up this little speech, and I was like, oh, I know what's going on. He's gonna ask if he can call me his girlfriend. So I'm like, why is that such a ridiculous concept? It's happened before, it'll happen again. I could feel that, and so I was, like batting my eyelashes, twirling my chest hair, and he goes, hey, I was wondering, like, would you stop threatening to kill yourself so much? Which is how I found out I cannot stop threatening to kill myself. So, yeah, sort of whipping that out at the slightest sign of an inconvenience. I'm like, oh man, self-checkout doesn't work at Walgreens. Guess I'll try the one in heaven. What I was gonna do. But I did want want to try. I wanted to try to break the habit, and it's going well, except for we're at this party, I spill a drink on one of his friends, and I'm like, my instinct is like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, why should I die? You're the idiot with my red wine all over you. You're gonna fucking die. I don't know, I feel so desensitized to that phrase. I truly think it's because I'm around comics all the time, and there's a lot of them in the back of the room because they're cheap. I do feel like every comic I know either has had or should have suicidal thoughts. And like, as a result, it doesn't get me worked up. I feel like I'm getting more worried if somebody's like not threatening to kill themselves. You know, like, I think about it like this. Let's say you and your friend are running to catch a train. You just miss it. You see it zooming away without you. And your friend's reaction is like, ugh, god damn it, god, I'm gonna kill myself. You're like, yeah, me too, big whoop. You don't get like worried. I think you would get worried if you and your friend are running to catch a train, you miss it, and your friend's reaction is, god damn it. This is a setback. I am not going to kill myself. I'm like, yeah, no, totally, buddy. Do me a favor. Let's say that a few steps away from the yellow line. I think what I've learned is if you're gonna joke about suicide, you just gotta get as like silly and specific with it as possible. I texted a friend I wanted to put rocks in my pockets and walk into the sea. He didn't ask me if I was okay. He said, walk into the sea? Slay, Little Mermaid. Honestly, that's on me. That's what you get. That's what you get for using gay guys as your support system. I mean, in my defense, I do feel like the most iconic friendship type of all time has got to be the like gay man and his girlie, or like the girl and the gay best friend, because it's so perfect. Sometimes. Not really when. Sometimes they do choose to be men before they're gay. The way a lot of my like gay best friends speak to me, it kind of feels like they know they're getting away with something. Like, we've all been around a toddler who just learned a new curse word. Because they say it, and you're laughing, and they keep saying it, and you keep laughing, and at the end of the night, you're like, okay, well, stop calling me a bitch! It's losing its charm. That gay baby just called me a cunt! God. Because gay men do objectify women too. I feel like if a straight man comes up to you, if he comes up to me, he comments on my body, like sure it might be unwelcome and gross, but at least I know what's going on. Like I know the reason. I know it's because it's my uncle. But if a gay man just comes up to me and like straight up tells me my body type, he's not negging me to try and sleep with me. He's just negging me for sport. I'm like, oh, that really hurt my feelings. And he's like, really? For me, it was the love of the game. I do think the first time I really realized I was queer. Oh wait, real quick. Clap it up if you went to my high school in here. Awesome. Thank you guys for what you let me do to your body. None of those ones are here. This is true. I will say, okay, in high school, my friends and I concocted this genius plan. We were like, we're gonna give each other fake hickeys to make boys jealous. Bulletproof, right? Except for two things. When you're going at it, when you're in the trenches, sort of the only thought in your head is like, well, what's fake about this hickey? I think I'm sucking on your neck. And second of all, maybe not that important, I definitively went to all-girls school. So we gave each other's hickeys, and then I was like, okay, and like, wait, and who was that for? Fake hickeys for boys. Girl, that was a real hickey for mama. I will say, whenever I say I went to all-girls school, people, like, one of the first things people say, you guys know, they're like, oh, was it super catty? And I'm like, to me, that's like being like, oh, did Mozart like music? Was it catty? I am a classically trained cunt. Are you kidding? I do say that, but I do feel like I have decided this year that I am not a bitch. Something not a bitch says. I've decided I'm not a bitch because I do think the only times I've ever been called that, like in earnest, have been by a man, and that just doesn't count. Every time a man has called me a bitch, it's because I said something to him he needed to hear 10 years ago. When men are sexist, it's just so, like, boring. I'm like, yeah, a man hates a woman. Does a duck quack? Do other women bee shopping? Not me, but do they? It's hack. I do feel like, I don't know, recently though, one of my like best guy friends, I actually heard him call another woman a bitch, like with his whole chest for the first time. And it felt awful. I felt like my family dog just bit me. I was like, I trusted you, but you are a wild animal. I knew the risk when I brought you into my home. Honestly, this is on me. I should have trained you better. Here's a treat. And I of course know that bitches exist. I have a sister. I honestly was thinking this walking over here. I think the math is, okay, if a man calls you a bitch, that's nothing. If a woman calls you a bitch, you might be a bitch. If a bitch calls you a bitch, you just might be a cunt. Oh my god. Because for me, it wasn't only all girls school, I also was all sisters. And raised by a single dad. So for me, it was like, my dad had sole custody of 3 girls, and he was amazing at it. I will give him that, but he did do one thing that still gets on my nerves to this day, which is he insists on calling himself Mr. Mom. And it makes me so sad. I'm like, we failed him, right? We as a society, we forgot to invent a word for when the parent is a boy. Yeah, of course. I'm like, to me, when he says Mr. Mom, it really does have the same cadence of like, no homo. He's like, yeah, I'm a dad, but I'm not like gay about it. I just picture him like looking at me and my sisters being like, my girls, who I fathered, who call me dad, I love them so much. It's almost like I'm their mom. Mr. Mom. I don't know. I'll give him credit. Like, he got cheated on. It's like, what are you, a wife? I went and visited him for the holidays, and okay, I think we can all relate to this. It does feel like when we go home, it's like our generation's job to help our parents with technology. I just paused right there because I was genuinely being like, is anyone in this room even remotely above the age of 40? No. I feel like, when I know I'm supposed to be the one who can help my dad with tech, but tell me why when I was home for Christmas, he watched me repeatedly fail the same CAPTCHA test. Those tests to prove you're not a robot, like, why are they so intense? Why do they ask for so much? Why are you gonna make me identify a stop sign, a stoplight, a little old lady pedestrian? I don't even do that when I'm driving. Here's what I'll do. Something to know about me is I am a big fan, a proponent, an advocate really, of doing friends with benefits. And I tell people that, and they're like, oh my god, friends with benefits, that's such like a surefire way to lose a friend. And I think that is fascinating wording. This is true. That last year, a lot of people in fact know this. I had friends with benefits, and the friend passed away, taking with him all of the benefits. Very selfish. And here's the thing, I'm so used to like winning casual hookup situations, because it is a game. Like, you do want to be the one who's a little bit more aloof. You want to see like, well, who can care the least? Let's see who can be the most distant. So, for the other guy to just up and die? Hey man, yeah, we get it. No strings attached! Right. I called my dad to tell him when it happened, and like, you know, I don't like talk about sex with my dad, and so I wanted to explain the situation to him at a very high level. Bye, Dad. Such mom behavior. I called him to talk about it, and so I was just like, I don't want to get into it. Like, okay, Dad, somebody I was sleeping with and fucking, he passed away. And my dad was like, oh my God. Okay, so you have a boyfriend? I was like, well, if you were listening, it would be Pad. And also, like, I don't want to get into like modern hookup culture about why I could not say that this person wasn't my boyfriend. So I just say like, okay, yes, Dad, I had a boyfriend. But then, you know, the lights started flickering. And I was like, well, what even is a boyfriend? Drawers started rattling, strange gusts of wind are blowing in. I'm like, I mean, he was surely in love with me. My head spins around 360 degrees. Projectile vomit. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I know it was casual. We both knew it was casual. If anything, I was more aloof than him. All calms down, and my dad's just like, so you don't have a boyfriend? And I'm like, no, I was just being a whore. And I look up to the skies, I'm like, so now am I gonna see you in heaven? He looks down like, oh, you must know, there are no white people up here. I'm like, so true, King, sorry for asking. Yeah, no, of course. Sorry. Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. One of the craziest things that happened, that is actually true, is when I was walking to the funeral for this person, I got catcalled. And I know that sounds awful, but I'm telling you, when I heard the voice of this catcaller, it felt like, you know, after you lose a loved one, and you're looking out a window and you see like a hummingbird, and it looks back at you and you just know. Well, imagine your hummingbird was a horny old man screaming at you about the exact body part your loved one loved the most. I might. Stand-up is a front man's game. It was a very overwhelming moment, of course, and you know, I mean, I'm walking to the funeral of someone I was sleeping with, I've just been catcalled, and my best friend in the world walks up to me, and she's someone who just truly always knows what to say. And she does. She comes up to me, takes me in her arms, and she's like, oh, baby, you look slutty. You know he's not gonna be there, right? The thing is, I turned and looked at that catcaller and I was like, I think he already is. Thank you. I mean, how is that not even the worst way I've been ghosted? Just the most literal. I do. It's so funny because I do feel like God, you know, like he or him And was sending me some subtle signs to stop sleeping with comics. Or, sorry, open micers. Because, like, every comic I hooked up with either died or got me pregnant. So either way, something died. My aborted fetus hates that joke. What happened there was, a little while back, I went to the doctor, you know, I peed in a cup for free. Call that a streaming service. I peed in a cup. And my doctor was like, fuck, that's my coffee. I peed in a cup because my boyfriend's mouth was full. I'm sorry. I swear to God, I peed in a cup. Because that cup got stung by a jellyfish. I'm sorry. Okay, I will say this. It's 2025. Girls can pee standing up too, okay? First of all, gender's a construct. Anyone can be a girl. Second of all, some of us aren't afraid of a little something called sloppy style. Do we feel like I've buffered the like dead friend and abortion jokes with enough piss jokes now? It's called structure. Comics in the back. Write it down. I will get in. So I went to the doctor and I peed in a cup and they called me up with my results. They were like, hey slut. Sorry, improv phone. You seem like healthy, hydrated, bit of a butterface, but would smash. And we're sure you know this, but you need to get an abortion. And, that's like not how they worded it. They said you're pregnant, but I don't know, I'm gonna read between the lines. The reason a positive pregnancy test comes back with 2 little lines, so girls like me can read right between them. The craziest thing is, I was at this appointment to get an IUD. Which, if you're not familiar, IUD is a form of birth control. Stands for I don't want to be pregnant, not for another 10 years. And to me, I'm like, that's so crazy that they were like, so you know that there's already something in there. I was like, why did you think I made this appointment? To give it like a toy for the next 9 months? What? A pogo stick? A pull-up bar? No! Going to the doctor for birth control and being told you're already pregnant is like going to the eye doctor for glasses and being told, bitch, you're pregnant. It's not what you're expecting to hear! And the thing is, I make all these jokes about it, but the fact of the matter is, I more honestly did like struggle with the decision of what to do in that situation. And I mean, I say that, don't get me wrong, like I am obviously like a liberal, progressive, feminist, but God, I really am rambling and my kid is in the car. I know it's cold out, the car is hot. Oh, it's so warm in that car for that baby. Joe Rogan is on the aux. Indoctrinate. No, I like that I do jokes about abortion because since I started doing them, I have had multiple people come to me when they've been in the same situation, and it means the world to me that I've been able to help them, truly. But I do feel, oh, none of you want to reveal yourselves, cool. Genuinely thought there would be 2 woos. No. No, but I'm doing jokes about it, you know, I've naturally like opened myself up to a lot of personal questions about the situation. Like, oh God, one of the most common I would get is people would be like, okay, Meredith, you got the abortion, so like, how the hell are you still glowing? Don't worry, I'm not pregnant. That's just my natural charisma. A certain je ne sais quoi that I think got me in this pickle in the first place. People ask me like what I would have named it after its father, Scrappy-Doo. Genuinely, the most common question, and this is honest, is people are like, was it scary? Were you scared? And the answer is, of course. I remember this one moment, it was very visceral. I was on the subway and I was just looking around and I became like so cognizant of the fact that I was a pregnant woman. That like I was in this body and that I was like a pregnant lady. And I'm just looking around at all the people thinking, is anybody gonna give me their seat? Get the fuck up, I'm a pregnant lady. Is it scary? Yeah, it's scary when the city you love has gone to the dogs. There's nothing like being up here for 30 minutes to make me realize every single punchline is me being like, da 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 da. That's not how it felt in my room earlier. You guys have been an amazing crowd. I'm so excited to party later. I am gonna end on a lighter note. How do we feel about that? There's one on this. The RMS Titanic. Are we fans of Titanic in here? And I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the event. I'm such a nerd for the Titanic. I don't know what it is. It's like that iceberg, those Irish immigrants, that's just good white on white crime. I'll leave you guys with a true little history lesson. Okay, so the night the Titanic sank, April 14th, 1912, I was a very little baby. All of the maritime codes had very recently changed, right? So as the ship is sinking, the radio guys are sending a technically out-of-date distress code. They're sending out CQD. And right as the ship's about to sink, one of them remembers, and they're like, girl. Bet you weren't picturing women. They were like, girl, we've been using the wrong code. You have to send out the new one. Try SOS. But it was too late. Here's my beef with this. I do feel like all the other ships know what they were trying to say. Doesn't that sound like a fascinating time to be a stickler? What asshole was on the USS Grammar? Being like, oh, well, I don't know. Can we send any more lifeboats? Oh, are we familiar with Mark Wahlberg's quote about 9/11? He said, if you don't know, he said, good. Good! Again. Now, if you're not familiar, Mark, he has this iconic quote. He told reporters at one point, if I had been on one of those planes, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. Well, that's how I feel about the Titanic! I really do. I feel like if I had been in the North Atlantic, April 14th, 1912, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. I'll leave you guys with this. I will say, after my set, I usually get one of two questions from people. The first is, of course, will you sign my gun? And the second is, like, strangers will come up to me and be like, are you okay? And my answer to that's always the same. I mean, I am like,